Assalamualaikum. Very good morning, everyone. Oh, you want to talk? Oh, okay. For the class this morning, I want you to review this video first, okay? Later on, I will explain and we do the exercise together. Okay, let's watch.
And today, we shall continue again on Module 3, In the Past, Our World. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to ask information questions about the past, as well as to learn about Tutankhamun's curse. Before we begin our lesson, let us recall first the vocabulary that we have covered in our previous lesson. Together, read after me. Do a project. Do a project. Teach. Teach. Draw. Draw. Wake up. Wake up. So these are the vocabulary that we have covered in the previous lesson. And for today's lesson, I'm going to introduce to you some new vocabulary. Without further ado, let us read together. Treasure. Treasure. Dye. Dye. Gold. Gold. Mosquito. Mosquito. Bite. Bite. Tomb. Tomb. So these are the vocabulary that we are going to cover throughout the whole lesson for today. Now, we are going to do the first activity of our lesson today, which is to listen and read. I'm going to display an audio text for you, and I want you to listen. At the same time, I need you to read the text that I put up on this screen as well. Are you ready? Let's start.
1. What do you know about Tutankhamun's curse? Listen and read. Social Studies.
The curse. In ancient Egypt, Tutankhamun, an 18-year-old king, died. They put his body in a tomb. Inside the tomb, there were treasures and a curse. Go into the tomb and die. In 1922, two Englishmen, Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon, went to the Valley of the Kings. On the 4th of November, one of Carter's men found something.
Look, sir!
Yes, at last.
Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon opened the tomb.
The curse, sir! The curse!
Inside the tomb, there were chairs, boxes of food, treasures, and gold. The mummy of Tutankhamun was there too.
He died 3,000 years ago.
But Lord Carnarvon never saw the treasures. A mosquito bit him and he died. Was it the curse?
Was it a curse? What do you think? Now, let me introduce to you first a few structures that we are going to use in our lesson today. The first one is, how old was he? How old was he? I want you to focus on the word with red color. How old means berapa umur? Berapa umur? Next structure. How did he die? How did he die? How means bagaimana. When we see did in the questions, it means that the question is using simple past form. That is why I highlight the word did in blue color. Next structure. What was his name? What means apa. When we have these questions as the structure, of course, we will have the answer as well. Let's look back to question number 1 again. How old was he? Take it for example, he was 18. We know that 18 is the answer, but we need to answer in a complete sentence. In order to complete, we need to take some of the words mentioned in the questions to be rewritten again in the answer. Hence, the answer is he was 18. Next, how did he die? Like what I mentioned just now, when we use did, it means that our answer must be in simple past form. Hence, the verb in the sentence should be in simple past too. The sample answer here is, a mosquito bit him. Bit is the past tense for bite. Next, what was his name? This question is more or less the same like the first question. When we want to answer it in a complete sentence, we would say, his name was Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun is the answer, but to complete the answer, we need a few more words that are taken from the question. Let's try to do some answering question now while practicing the structures that we have covered in the previous activity just now. Are you ready? Let's start with the first question. Number 1. When did Carter and his men find Tutankhamun's tomb? When means bila. And like what I mentioned earlier, when there is a word did exists in the questions, it means that our answer should be in simple past form later on. The verb here is the word find. Hence, find will be modified into simple past form when it is written later on in the answer. Before we look for the answer, let us try to look from the text first. What is the answer for this question? In 1922, the answer is in the third sentence of this paragraph. So we know that the answer is 1922. To answer it in a complete sentence, it becomes, they found Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. Found is the past tense for find. Next, who opened the tomb? Who means siapa. Obviously, the questions is also using simple past because the word open is the past tense for open. Let's try to look for evidence from this picture. Who opened the tomb? Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon opened the tomb. So we can take the answer exactly the same from the text because the sentence in the text is also using simple past form. Hence, the answer here is Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon opened the tomb. Next, how old was Tutankhamun when he died? How old means berapa umur. So what's the answer? In ancient Egypt, Tutankhamun, an 18-year-old king, died. Means that he died at the age of 18. He was 18 when he died. Next, what was inside the tomb? What means apa. So what was inside the tomb? Inside the tomb, there were chairs, boxes of food, treasures, and gold. Well, if we look at the questions, the question is using was. However, in our answer, we should use were. This is because our pronouns is more than one. We have chairs, we have boxes of food, treasures, and also gold. Hence, we have to use were instead of was because was is only used for singular noun. Next, how did Lord Carnarvon die? How means bagaimana. Let's try to look for the answer. A mosquito bit him and he died. It means that he died from a mosquito bite. Hence, the answer here is a mosquito bit him. We can take the answer exactly the same from the text because the answer itself already have the verb in simple past form. This adheres the format of the question being asked because the question also uses did.
Okay guys, I think that's all for today. Okay, don't forget to complete your homework. Okay, submit to me as usual. Send to our WhatsApp group. Okay, see you tomorrow for the next class. Bye.